What on earth should you focus on when you have seconds or just a few minutes to draw a figure? What should your mind be doing? What should your eyes be doing? We need a strategy. Hi, my name's Kenzo and this is Love Life Drawing. So I recorded a 30-second drawing, a 60-second drawing and a 3-minute drawing, and I'd love to say that I just entered a beautiful Zen state and the drawings just flowed from my fingertips. But the truth is I had to keep making decisions. I had doubts, I made mistakes. So I'm going to describe my thought processes, both good and bad, in this video. So before the 30 seconds start, I try to get my mind in the right place. I commit to going with instinct, with feeling, and just aim to get the overall gesture that I feel in the pose, because there's nothing more that I can hope for in just 30 seconds. And that's why doing quick drawings is such useful practice. As soon as the time starts though, worries start to float up. This pose is tough, there's such strong foreshortening on her torso. The usual landmarks that I would look for, they're not going to be there to help me out. And I've only got 30 seconds to make sense of everything. So I have to accept and let go of that doubt. I need to draw with total confidence, even though I'm totally not confident. So my eyes are taking in so much information from the figure, I need them just to find the things that really matter. So in this case, her butt creates an overall oval that's a little tilted. The rib cage creates a simple abstract shape jutting out behind her butt. I can make a super simple shape with the hair. Aside from those basic observations, all I really want from my eyes is to feel the movement, the flow down the legs and up the arms. It takes some discipline to not get sucked into some unnecessary detail. So I really recommend warming up with these kinds of super quick gestures sometimes, just like so quick that it's silly, 20 or 30 seconds, because it really forces you to let go and take big risks. So now I have 60 seconds, which feels kind of luxurious after just having 30 seconds, but it's kind of more time for things to fall apart and it's still not much time at all. I wanted to start with something that I feel confident about, just to get some momentum going, so I went with the rough shape of the hair. So since I have more time, I can put down some really light initial lines for 2 or 3 things before the final lines, like a simple ball for the volume of the head, an oval for the rib cage. This pose has a big swooshing curve outwards to her butt and back around her thigh. I want to find some curves that explain a lot of the big shapes in a really simple, flowing way. So the curves shouldn't work against each other too much, they should complement each other and give each other momentum. So like these symmetrical curves here, for example, they kind of rob each other of energy. Like if this were a river, water flowing through it, it would really slow down here. Whereas with curves like these or like these, they complement each other, so water flowing through them would gain momentum and flow faster. For this arm, I got some movement and flow into that line, but it's too high to be the bottom outline of her arm and too low to be the top of her arm, so I decided to leave it like that and pretend it was on purpose. In the gesture, you really just need the flow, not all of the outlines. The lines within the figure are often as important as the outlines, just how, like, without these lines on this cube, you'd have no idea that it was a cube. So the edge of this shadow shape is really useful. It's important enough to include, even though we've only got 60 seconds. Only the real essentials of it though. I just want to show how this side of the torso is facing the light, this side isn't, and how it comes up with the arch of the rib cage. There's some roundness in the tummy, just that kind of really basic information. Okay, we've got one pose left, the 3-minute pose. This video is based on part of the Life of Drawing program, where we took students through 10 weeks of online life drawing lessons and practice sessions. They've done amazingly well, supporting each other, working hard on all the lessons and practice sessions, and one of the biggest challenges was gestural drawing. An important part of that is committing to simplifying and taking risks, so that's why I made this video. We're going to run the program again later this year, so you can find out more and make sure you're on our newsletter at lovelifedrawing.com/lifeofdrawing to stay up to date with when we run it again, because it's a really cool experience and a really good way to take your drawings to the next level. So with 3 minutes, I wanted to keep the pace and the decisiveness that I had in the 1 minute pose. but maybe start a little bit lighter at first because I have time to add more layers to it. I looked for lines of the torso seeing past the breast. They're secondary to the ribcage, midsection and pelvis, and that's the heart of the gesture because the ribcage pushes out this way, the pelvis pushes back the other way, and there's a strong fold in the middle. So I just kind of want that flowing zigzag of the pose and not much more. I try to draw the arm with curves that flow together, not against each other like we talked about. I regret this line just as soon as I've done it. It's the edge of the shadow shape, but I'm not sure why it's so strong, why it angles off into her armpit. I also didn't bring back her tummy strongly enough. It should come back to a point that lines up with the middle of the collarbones. But who cares? I'm getting big, bold curves down on the paper, and that matters more than all of that. You know, details, correcting, measuring, these are safety ropes. They would give me a sense of control and security in a drawing. But security and control are exactly what I don't need in a really short pose. Did you see that scene in that Batman film where he has to escape from the prison and he has to make this dangerous leap and he keeps falling and then he takes off his safety rope and that's when he makes it. It was only when he was at real risk of doom that he really went for it. We've got to lean into the risk of our drawing going completely wrong to stand a chance of it going right. Unfortunately for us, if it does go wrong, it's just a drawing. We're not going to fall into a pit. The hand goes a bit haywire here, and then I try and fix it and make it worse. Should I rub it out? I find I'm getting into the wrong mindset again. I'm worrying again. So I just cut my losses with it and move on. So I have time for a simplified face. Another mistake there. I allow myself a quick correction because with 3 minutes, a few selective corrections are okay. You don't want to do too much, but a couple are okay. At the end, I think back over the whole drawing. I wish I hadn't added random shading, which makes the light confusing. I wish I hadn't made all these mistakes that I talked about, but I still feel great because I went for it with the simplification and the movement, and that's all that ever really mattered with these quick poses. Guys, you may have noticed that Croquis Cafe, whose reference photos we used for this video and who thousands of artists use every day for their life drawing practice, had to take down their YouTube videos because they show nude models, and it seems like YouTube doesn't like that, even though it's for artistic education. So we keep our videos safe by censoring the references, which you probably noticed in this video. But the good news is that if you like to practice with Croquis Cafe, you still can, because they still have a Vimeo channel and they have their own website, and they're not giving up on providing great art resources. Every time I talk to Larry, I can feel his genuine passion for supporting artists, and somehow they've managed to keep the Croquis Cafe resources all free. They do it through donations, and they didn't ask me to say this, but if you can, consider giving them a monthly donation through their website, croquiscafe.org. So if you can't afford it, then obviously that's not a problem, but if you can, think of it this way. Not only are you supporting them so you can keep practicing with their resources, but you're also helping to fund those resources for thousands of other artists around the world. Guys, let me know in the comments what goes through your head when you're doing your quick drawings, when you're doing your gesture practice. Is it like Zen meditation or is it panic stations? I hope you enjoyed the video. There's more on the screen. Check them out and I'll see you next time.